answers. They're not interested in answers. And once you realise that, they're interested in a sort of a social habit. You know, if there was an answer, then they wouldn't be able to come to... There would be no reason to come to the barge every year, you know. So once you've got the gist of that, then it becomes something else. And you wallow around for a little while, and then it becomes art. You think, Charles Sarch is into this stuff. Yes, that's a good way of looking at it. It's art. And I wholeheartedly believe now that it is art. It fits the complete criteria of art, in the sense that art is supposed to fill people with experience, and people are supposed to get an experience of what they're observing or looking at or being in, and yes, it fits that criteria perfectly. So yes, one becomes an artist, and it's brilliant. I have absolutely no right, or I'll give you another answer. I have every right in the world. I haven't decided which one yet. Besides the threatening mail, the physical threats, the abuse, no. Not much trouble. The damage to cars, the hassle, you know. They always seem to phone up when I'm watching a good football match. Apart from that, no trouble at all. The most common, which I've also experienced, are bright flashes of light in the direct vicinity of your activities. The other ones have been more mental. I've made a circle, and I've made an avenue, and then I'm down at the bottom of the avenue, and as I'm making my way back up the avenue, I'll think, what if there's a devil sitting in the circle? You know. And I'll start doing my head in a little bit, and I'll get there and there isn't one. So I'll realise, well, maybe that's why people see devils, you know. Oh, that's something interesting to think about. But apart from that, no, occasional meteorological anomalies, I would say. Bright flashes are a bit of a mystery. And they're talked about amongst Circlemakers, in pubs, over beer. To make a circle.
Yeah, I'm just like Joe.
A couple of people, large pictogram, 400-footer, 1.5 hours.
And do you feel you can do this in complete darkness with no moon?
Full moon makes it very, very difficult. You call something off.
Well,
it's too bright.
Would see you. So
people would see you.
So a half moon or a quarter moon is better.
Yeah,
but
or no moon. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because eyes adjust to the light. Everyone who lives in the country knows this.
So a lot of people say, they couldn't possibly do this in the 5 hours of darkness. And
well, a lot of people say a lot of things, but they, I mean, the object of this exercise with me initially was to try it, and once I'd tried it, you found that a lot of these statements were not true.
And then how do you get a group of people that can follow orders and do these things with such precision without any mistakes?
Well, two people.
Two people.
Following orders.
Okay. So you wouldn't get a whole group of people. It'd be too hard to control.
Well, I would say lately, in the last year or so, you've had more than two people working on, and I would say often it goes wrong.
Something happens.
Yeah, I mean, there was a very large formation in this vicinity last year. Very large. Probably the largest one you can think of, which went wrong. And if you look at it from a purely aesthetic point of view, it didn't go wrong. If you look at the photograph, if you look at it from the position of being there, you can see how it kind of did go wrong. Most of these jobs are done by 2 in the morning, and people are at Membry service station by 3. There's a obvious sense of denial somewhere, and I get accused of having a strong sense of denial, and that explains skepticism. That skepticism is denial, because these things are true. And from my point of view, the denial is on the other side. I mean, evidence has been put forward, blah, 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 of this, that, and the other, and still 7 years later you get people saying, well, people couldn't do this because... And to me that's a sense of denial. To me it's all about... It's this weird, twisted, kind of wrangled thing about human potential.
Yeah.
How I say, yes, people can do this. People can go out and they can create this thing, and there's a bit, okay, they go off in secret, and it's dark, and there's a big mystery about it. And that is, to me, is human potential. But there's this other side which says that's denial, saying that. Human potential is about communicating with these things and believing in this kind of invisible world that no one can kind of quite put their finger on. And there's the line, you know, who's right? I think it's very interesting, the line. I like looking at the line.
You like walking it?
Well, I come here and apparently I do walk it. But to me, I'm just coming in for a drink, and here I am, you know.
Do you feel like being part of the phenomenon is actually help perpetrate it?
Yeah, I kept it going for a few years.
All right.
During a sticky period.
But I mean, do you...
91, between 91 and 94, we kind of, myself and a few others, kept it going when it was like... there was a feeling during 92, 93 that the thing needed to be kept going after the debacle of Doug and Dave, and that it was a good phenomenon, and it needed to be continued, and there was a bit of that feeling. And looking back, I think that's probably true.
So you do feel like some parts of it are genuine, like they come from somewhere we can't explain?
I think that if you assume for a moment that they're all, it doesn't matter how they get there. If they're all, say they're all man-made, all of them. The fact that people are experiencing things and being healed and feeling good, that to me is very, very interesting and needs investigation. Science doesn't look at that. So even at its basis level, if you strip the phenomenon down to nothing, you know, to complete nonness, you know, no kind of paranormal reasons that things are appearing, the fact that people are interacting with them in the way that they do is, I think, very interesting and very important. And there's a lot to be learned. And I would say that as it stands is, you know, sufficiently paranormal. So, I mean, you can kind of have me or not have me, you know, you know, in it, and it's still paranormal. I think that's quite interesting. The effect, people have got completely the wrong idea of art, I think. They think it's something, they view it in terms of objects, but it should be viewed in terms of experience. If you look at a painting, it's not the painting that's got any value, it's the experience you get from it, which is the art. It's the value and the meaning.
I think Sotheby's would differ.
Oh, they'd die, because they have this completely false way of placing value on stuff. Yeah. And it's all coming out, isn't it, about what's fake. Well, you know, it's ridiculous. Art is about the experience you get from something. So therefore, art could be anything in theory, anything that you get an experience from. And there's nothing greater than a massive crop formation that even as a bonus has a kind of symbolism attached to it. You know, it's in the shape of something. But even just a simple circle, you know, larger the better, much as you can manage in a night, it's going to be like this temporary